Hello, my lovely viewers all over the world, especially my West African followers. Today, we want to look at 2026 Waec Chemistry Practical Salt Analysis. All right, we are going to look at Waec Chemistry Practical Salt Analysis, which we are going to write on the 20th of this month, May 2026. All right, so in your salt analysis, remember the endpoint has already been uploaded on Waec TV. If you are new here, just hurry up, go to Waec YouTube channel, go and search for titration or endpoint 2026 Waec Practical Chemistry Endpoint 2026. Just go there, look at my YouTube channel name, Waec TV. Now today we are going to look at salt analysis. And now what is the thing that you have been given in that analysis? We are given starch and lead 2 carbonate. We are given this salt, lead 2 carbonate and starch. Now we are asked to mix these two things in a ratio of 1:1. It means that if you weigh lead 2 carbonate 2 grams, you must also weigh starch granule 2 grams. That is what we mean by ratio of 1:1. So if this one is 3, this one will measure 3. If this one is 4, this one you also measure this one 4. You mix them together. All right. And as you know, lead 2 carbonate, lead 2 triazocarbonate is not soluble. It's an insoluble salt. Also, starch granule is also insoluble. So we have a mixture of 2 insoluble substances. Now, how do you do that? Remember, in your practical salt analysis, you always create a column, a tabular form of test, observation, and inference. So that is what we're going to do. So if you are watching for the first time, just remember, I'm going to hold a live session on my YouTube channel come Friday, 8th of May 2026 on YouTube, 7 p.m. West African time. So this is the way of me reciprocating your support towards the development of my teaching platform. And if you are following me on Facebook, you can as well follow me on TikTok or Waec1, on Instagram or Waec_, or Jen_Mike. Then on YouTube is Waec TV. Just hurry up and go and subscribe or follow any of my social media platforms. Now let's go. Like I say, your test must be your salt analysis must be reported in test, observation, and what? And inference. So we go with test. We have test, we have observation, and we have inference. So we have 3 major things here. We have test, observation, and what? And inference. Now the first thing you are going to do, remember, the mixture of these lead 2 triazocarbonate and starch will be titled C, because they are not going to give you like that. It is only the teachers that they will give, they will already know what is there. So now that lead 2 will be titled what? Either C or D, as the case may be. All right. So now we will title a mixture of that as what? As C. As what? As C. Now the first thing you will be asked to do, you are going to dissolve that in water. So you say C plus distilled water. If you dissolve that in water, of course you know that it's going to be insoluble. Okay, so what you are going to have is what? C is insoluble in water. Do you get that? C is what? Insoluble in water, and a white solid is what? Is observed. That is what you are going to have. So here in your observation, you say C is insoluble. Insoluble in water. And a white solid. A white solid is observed. And a white solid is observed. Now, what will be your inference? You say C is a mixture of insoluble substance. C is a mixture of insoluble. Any stage you finish, you have to roll line. Alright? Sometimes this test part will be given to you. You are only expected to write the observation part and what the inference. Alright? That is what Waec and other standard examination normally do. So this test part you might likely be what? Be given. Now the next thing is what? Since it is insoluble to substance, what can you use it to? Remember, the ion we are expected to test is what? We have lead 2 ion, we have carbonate ion, we have of course this one will give rise to what? CO1, CO2, and what do we have? Iodine, of course, that is starch. These are the things that we need to test. Lead 2 ion, carbonate ion, and of course this one will give rise to what? Carbon dioxide, because of what? You are going to pass out through what? Through lime water, that is calcium hydroxide. Now the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to dissolve this thing because it is insoluble. Insoluble means that when you dissolve these things, they don't mix together, so you cannot call it a solution. The ion are still intact. This ion here, they are still intact. So until it becomes soluble, that is where you can now test to check for the ions. Do you get that? So the next thing we're going to do is that we are going to dissolve this in acid. So you say is that if you title this one A, this one is titled AI. Alright? So you are going to say C plus dilute HCl or HNO3. Now, this part is very, very important. We want to check for lead ion and what? Carbonate. This part that I want to explain is very, very important. That is why you need to pay keen attention. Waec will rather give you either HCl, like hydrochloric acid, or triazonitrate 5 acid. They cannot give you the two. I will explain why they will not give you the two. They will give you either this one or this one. So we are going to break down. That is why this video you have to be very, very careful. And for teachers teaching your students, you have to teach them these two parts, because what I am explaining now, it will be exactly the way Waec will give you. My predictions are always 98% accurate. Now, if you treat this one and this one out, look at the equation form. Let's use the equation first. If you treat this, of course, you treat PbCO3 plus HCl. What is going to form is what? Is lead chloride plus what? CO2 plus what? H2O. Of course, we have that 2 here. Now, this is what is going to form. Are you following? Now, this substance is insoluble. It's insoluble. Therefore, you might be asked to heat it. You might be asked to what? To heat it. So when you are doing in the laboratory, after treating with HCl, you have to heat it. You have to heat it. When you heat this substance down, what you are going to see is that as soon as you heat it, it will dissolve. But when you allow it now, when you now leave it now to cool, after cooling, it will now come back. Of course, this substance is white precipitate will be formed. Do you understand? Now when you heat it, the white precipitate will dissolve. When you now allow it to cool, it will now do what? The white precipitate will now appear again. So before the white precipitate appear, you have to filter it. But if you use this one now, if you use PbCO3 plus HNO3, of course will give you lead what? Lead nitrate plus CO2 plus what? Water. Now, if you use this acid now, this one, because of the presence of this nitrate, it is soluble. This one is soluble. So, they will not require you to heat this one. Alright? Of course, this one, there is no white precipitate, but this one, there will be white precipitate. So, if you treat this substance with HCl, what you are going to see is what? Is lead chloride. And it will be what? A white precipitate will occur. And which you need to treat it with heat. But if they ask you of HNO3, there is no need of it because this substance is soluble. So it's just for you to filter it because it contains starch. You remember, it's a mixture of starch. Starch does not react with any of them, any of the acid. So it will always continue to dissolve and the particle will settle down. Do you understand? Then you can that is why we need to treat this one separate. So I will first of all treat this one. After treating it, we only have 2 tests for you to use and confirm the presence of what? Of lead ion. Do you understand? Now, moving further, let us treat with this one, dilute HCl. Now, when you put any of this HCl, what you are going to do is effervescent. Either you put this one or put this one. Effervescent is on. Effervescent. You are going to see is what? Effervescent is bubble. You see bubble coming out. Do you get that? Bubble will begin to what? Bubble will begin to come out, and that bubble that will come out, you see what? Say colorless, odorless gas evolve. Colorless, odorless gas what? Evolve. Now what you are seeing, that colorless, odorless gas that is being evolved, what you are simply going to see is what? CO3 ion is what? Present. That is in your inference. This is what you are going to write. This one is what? Present. Now when you now pass that gas that has been evolved, just use as the gas is coming out like that, plug something, connect it to a container of lime water. If lime water is there, it will turn that lime water what? Milky. So you say gas turn lime water milky. Gas turn lime water milky. Are you following? Any gas that turn lime water milky, of course, it is what? CO2, carbon 4 oxide. So the gas, a gas will come from what? CO2. So we are finished with the one of carbonate. We want to look at how you can test for lead 2 ion and also iodine test. Now I have told you that when you use HCl, you are going to do what? You are going to heat it. After that, you now filter it. But if you are using HNO3, you are not going to heat it. You are going to use this one. You go direct to filter it. Now, when you filter it, both of them will now carry this same test that we want to use. All right. So we now say, in case you now filter it, let's just say let's say Bi now. Bi now is a filtrate. You say what? Filtrate plus the filtrate is either from the one of HNO3 or the filtrate from what? HCl. Filtrate plus aqueous ammonia in drops. When you put in drop, what you are going to see is that what? When you say white precipitate form. Some can say white precipitate form, some can say white precipitate what? Observe. And when you see something like that, what you should suspect is what? Is lead ion present or suspected. We can also, okay, lead ion is what? Present. Now in drop, in excess, then in excess, precipitate insoluble. So precipitate is what? Is insoluble. You can say that lead 2 ion is what? Present. Lead 2 ion is what? Is present. Why we didn't want to use aluminum ion and zinc ion? Both of them form a white gelatinous precipitate, but in this one now there is no white gelatinous. The only alternative method you can use is calcium ion. Alright, calcium ion. Now what really happen is that we are going to use calcium ion in when we'll be looking at sodium hydroxide. So this one is finished. We roll our line. It is either you are asked to use this one or you say Bi. You say Bi filtrate plus aqueous sodium hydroxide in drops. When you have in drop, what you are going to see is that white precipitate. White precipitate observe or form. I told you that you can use what? Use form or what? Observe. Don't write the two, okay? Write one. Observe or form. So what you are going to suspect is what? Lead 2 ion or calcium ion is what? Suspected. You can say suspected or present. Okay? Now you added this one in drops. Then in excess, you say precipitate dissolve. Precipitate dissolve or soluble. Or precipitate is what? Soluble. This is to say that lead 2 ion is what? Is present. When precipitate is soluble in a solution containing lead ion, when you add excess of this sodium hydroxide, lead 2 ion will what? Will be what? Will be soluble. You see a clear solution. But it is not a confirmatory test. You can confirm it using potassium iodide. When you add potassium iodide here, what you're going to see is that a bright yellow precipitate it will be formed. Alright? But then a potassium iodide is not in the reagent that have been given in the instruction material. So if potassium iodide is there, you proceed by what? Testing it, either this one or this one. You test it with what? Using potassium iodide, which you are going to see a bright yellow precipitate that is what? That is being formed. Do you understand? So in excess of this sodium hydroxide, what you are going to do is what? What you are going to see is precipitate will do what? Will dissolve, or precipitate will do what? Will be soluble. So it confirm what? Or lead 2 ion is what? Present. Of course, calcium ion will not what? Will not dissolve. Now let's proceed. Now the other one is what? The last one is what? Iodine. So we say this one is C. So we say portion of mixture of C plus iodine. So what you are going to see in your observation is blue, black, blue black. Some say blue black coloration. Blue black coloration. Coloration observe. Or some can say black blue or dark blue coloration. Then if you are a teacher, it is either your student can say blue black coloration observe. Some can say blue black coloration observe. Some can say blue black or dark blue coloration observe. Anyone that you write, it is correct. So here what starch is what? Starch is present. Some can say presence of what? Of starch. You can just rephrase it, okay? Starch is present. So this is all what you should be expecting. More especially this one, it is accurate. 98% what? Accurate. My prediction are always 98% accurate. Check my previous video on the past Waec and NECO prediction. You see that they always come true. All right. So here we have the first step is what? You treat it with water. The second step is what? Treat it with what? With acid. It is either use HNO3 or use dilute. Both of them dilute HCl. All right. When you use dilute HCl, you need to what? You need to heat it. When you heat it, you filter it. But when you use HNO3, you do what? You just filter it, because the precipitate will dissolve and form a solution. Then you now filter it. You now use, when you get the two now, it is either you use the one of HCl or use the one of HNO3. You start with this one. Both of them will carry this point. Waec might either ask you to use the solution of ammonia or use the solution of what? Sodium hydroxide. I have given you these two steps now, so that whichever they give you, you can just report it exactly like this. Do you get that? Then of course, iodine test for starch will always be present. Portion of what? The mixture. They will not ask you to use the solution, the mixture, that is the one that you have already treated with acid. All right, because it doesn't work like that. They will give you, they ask you to pick the mixture of the solution and dissolve it in what? And add what? Iodine to it. Of course, starch is what? Is present. If you are watching this video, you will only help me by what? By liking this video. You can comment on this video so that it will reach a wider audience. Please and please do well to subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube, do well to subscribe. If you are watching on Facebook, a complete video of it is already uploaded on YouTube. If you are watching on TikTok, watching on Instagram, a complete video of it is already uploaded on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, look at Waec TV. Waec what? TV is YouTube. That is the YouTube channel name. So just go there, type 2026 salt analysis chemistry practical. A video will pop up, and of course you are going to see all this one. I wish you all the best in your exams. Remember, I am doing a bonus, a free class that will be holding on Friday, 8th of May 2026. 8th of May being Friday. The time is 7 p.m. on YouTube. Go there, do well to subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and wait for the class. The class is going to be the predicted question, titration, predicted question, what they will ask you in your titration, and also a vivid explanation of this salt analysis. Thank you for always supporting me. Thank you for always being the best followers. I love you, and I love you. Words cannot equate how grateful I am for your continued support. God bless you.